It's that morning where things are just taking us, we keep going and going and going. This is a Situation Room. It is Kenya's biggest conversation, and we've had a number of those this morning already. And it doesn't stop because we need to keep pointing ourselves in the direction where we're having conversations that matter. And beyond that, conversations that will take us to the next place. And that's what we do here. Our next guest is already in the hot seat. She's already seated, and it's been a long... My goodness, it's been 1 month, but it seems like it's been a year already. Party leader of the People's Liberation Party is Martha Karua, and she's here this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. It's good to see you.
Nice to be back.
Welcome to July.
It feels like
July.
6 years.
Yeah, we have lost that consciousness of time. Mm-hmm. Things are moving too fast.
Jimmy reminded us it's the month of Sabasaba as well.
Yeah. In another 6 days now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it also brought your name up, actually, in terms of professionals in the generation who fought for the struggle for time and space in a time where we were coming out of the place where freedoms were not guaranteed, but really struggled to say it is necessary that this supreme law that we're all fighting for, and then that we see the culmination of the 2010 constitution, that there were people who were insistent on saying, you know what, there are freedoms that we fight for. They must be realized by this generation before you get to the next place. And so we seem to be at another place on the precipice of moving to yet another one of those struggle moments, and that forms the basis for our conversation today. So I thought it was interesting to let you know that your name came up in that discourse.
Oh, that's great. But I'm happy that today we have young people, the Gen Z, who are standing in the gap and who are pushing to resist taking away of their God-given freedoms, which are entrenched in the Constitution.
In the Constitution.
Yeah.
Dennis is going to take us to another country where we're getting proverbs from this week. He'll let you know where he's gone, and we'd love to hear your interpretation of it.
Yeah, the country we're in today is in East Africa region, Burundi to be specific. And just a few fun facts about it is it's a landlocked country and borders at Rwanda to the north, Tanzania to the east and south, and the Democratic Republic of Congo to the west. Lake Tanganyika, one of the world's deepest waters, forms part of Burundi's southwestern border. And our proverb today, you cannot hide smoke if there is fire.
What an appropriate one for today. Mm-hmm. I think I would interpret it by telling the regime that is running this country, the rogue regime, that you cannot hide smoke while there is fire.
Yeah.
You cannot deny responsibility for abductions, the atrocities happening, and the sponsored goons destruction that occurred on the 25th of June. Yeah.
And that's where we are because, the conversation that we have at this point, the words are heavy to use as adjectives to describe what is going on, but we've heard them. When on one side we talk about repression, we talk about a police state, we talk about authoritarianism, totalitarianism. But sadly and unfortunately, these are the manifestations of the things that we actually see. Mm-hmm. On the other side, in what would be seen as an uprising, a dissent, we hear things like an attempted coup. We hear things like dissent. We hear things like terrorism and treason. We've heard these words being used to describe what on the other side folks are saying, we can't allow this to continue. But that seems to be the same. And unfortunately, instead of being in a place where there's a symbiotic relationship between the people and those who have been given the duty of representation in terms of leadership, what we're having is us against them. Does that characterize the situation that we are currently in?
It does, where the us are the people and them are a small clique of the ruling elite. Because the people of Kenya are saying we want to be governed in accordance with our constitution, with our laws. We do not want our rights taken away. Whether it is about the economy, it's about individual freedoms, just follow the contract between those who are in authority and the people. And it's all written in the Constitution. And I'm just imagining those words, treasonous. What is treason? Treason is not exercising your rights. Treason is not expressing dissent when things are not going right. Treason is trying to overthrow the Constitution. To this rogue regime, I would say, you are treasonous. You are trying to overthrow the Constitution of Kenya, passed by the people of Kenya, and by which you swore to abide, by which actually gave you the positions that you hold. When you abduct people, when you shoot to kill, and may Boniface Kariuki rest in peace, and the many others who have been killed, including Albert Ojwang and the very many others. It's not possible to mention all of them here. But Boniface comes to mind because he was shot to be killed, because he was shot at point blank range. And the officer went for his head. And is now on TikTok saying sorry. Why is he not before a court of law? Why do we hear a cabinet secretary, a lawyer, telling the police shoot to kill, lying to them that he can cover their back? Nobody can exempt you from the law. And the police had better know. Nobody will cover their back. When they stand in the dock, they'll be alone. The CS won't be there. And then you hear Dr. William Ruto himself reinforcing those words. They cannot avoid the blood that is on their hands, that has been shed and continues to be shed. So I am thinking that even the word terrorism, it is the state terrorizing its own people. When the state pays goons, and it's clearly shown that police vehicles are ferrying the, I don't know what to call them, but the wood-made batons, the crude weapons with which to terrorize the people. When you see the police walking with the goons in the street, the police covering them as they assault the people, then you know that the people of Kenya are being terrorized by those who are supposed to protect them, and the taxes they pay are being used to terrorize them. It is when a regime ceases to rely on the law enforcement agencies and on lawful means and hires goons, it signals the imminent fall of that regime and that the country is being set up for anarchy. Then you hear a cabinet secretary say there will be no elections in 2027. Two ways of interpreting that. The easier way is to imagine that there could be consensus. But if you look around and see what is happening, are they setting us up for anarchy so that they can be able to declare a state of emergency to perpetuate themselves? Because from the looks of it, all over Kenya, people are saying no to this rogue regime. And I keep saying the word Ruto must go. It's not Ruto alone. Ruto is the head of the regime. So people are saying Ruto and his entire complement. And that's the way they should understand it. So it's not as though he can go and leave Kithure Kindiki. It's not as though he can go for Moses Wetangula as speaker to take over. Ruto must go stands for Ruto and his entire complement.
4 days ago, you did a statement condemning what you refer to as the state-sponsored goons who infiltrated the otherwise peaceful protests. You spoke about raping of women, brutally assaulting citizens, businesses looted, and orchestrated chaos. You say, they and those backing them must be punished to the full extent of the law. So we've had this conversation. Yesterday, the DCI boss was questioned on this headline of the Standard, where is Nyamweya, and he said, he's a person of interest, we're also looking for him. It almost feels the security agencies in these conversations, each person is saying, it's not me, I don't know, it's not me, I don't know. You've just said it seems like we are being slowly led into a situation where there will be a state of emergency, therefore no elections. Are you seeing us going there? Is this the imagery that you have that's actually where we're headed?
As I answer that, let's start with Nyamweya, which is the headline of the Standard today.
Yeah.
We are in court. I actually was the lead lawyer in the team that got the DCI asked to produce Nyamweya today at 11. Nyamweya was arrested on the 21st when they searched his house. I will not go into that because the DCI is denying.
He said so yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday was the 27th. 7 or 8 days after his disappearance, a matter that has been very public. It has been discussed widely. Why would the DCI choose to have a press conference rather than wait to appear in court today? Only on the day he knows that they are compelled to produce Nyamweya tomorrow. It is not in good faith. If he was a man of good faith, they would have commented long ago because we've been telling them, tagging them, telling them to produce Nyamweya. So we are going to face him in court. I'm asking him why now. We are going to court at 11 and they'll be telling us where he is. But forget this case because it's not the only one. Anytime people disappear, even when Bob Jaggi and the Longton brothers disappeared, the police went to court and said it is not them. Yet Bob Jaggi and the Longton brothers say it is the police who abducted them. They were dumped on the day the Inspector General and DCI were to appear in court. Those days it was Masengeli, if you remember. And they had been disobeying a court order to appear. So they miraculously are dumped on the day he's to appear. There have been many other cases. We are still in court in the Law Society case filed in December for Bernard Kavuli and several others on disappearance, actually 6 others. 2 have turned up dead. 4 were released. 2 are still missing. I do not know whether the math is correct. I may be missing the numbers, but I know 2 are still missing. The Mrolongo 4, 2 turned up dead, 2 are still missing. It is so worrying. Unless if the courts of law stamp their authority, the police are determined to keep saying it wasn't me. And imagine, let's assume it wasn't them. Since a year ago when disappearances, enforced disappearances and abductions became the order of the day, we pay them to know what is happening in the country and to keep our security. They would have found out by now. Short of them saying, we are unable to do our work. This is beyond us. They cannot say they do not know. The word I do not know
should never
apply from the police. They would be saying, we are trying to find out. This is what we have found out. So we are in a state where we are on our own, you know, and they cover for each other. Today, the man responsible for the arrest of Albert Ojwang, the DIG, is yet to be arrested. Talam, the OCS who is charged in court, has already said that it is the DIG Langat who told him that he should be disciplined a little. That is enough. He is the one who set things in motion, a chain of events that ended in the death of Albert Ojwang. Clearly, from where I see it, he's not just a person of interest. He is the trigger that caused all those events. He should be behind bars. They're covering for him. Ruto is silent on that. Because this is the man he would like to take over the police force. A man who will, you know, if we go by this, a man who will not respect the Constitution. So you look at all these things, and we say, yes, they want to set us up. We as Kenyans must refuse, must resist. We must not allow them a day more beyond where they should go. And they must know Kenyans have an option to remove them earlier. Article 1 does give us. Dr. Ruto how should I go? Take the same route you took to come to where you are. You could either resign. If you respected the people, the voice of the people, if you were a Democrat, you would resign by now with your entire government. You would go home. But because you will not, the people will remove you. Either 2027 or earlier. Because if they continue killing people, people can exercise their option. You will kill just like you're killing, but you cannot kill everyone. And I keep reminding them, we've had dictators, authoritarian rulers, terrorists in the name of leaders, and none of them have survived the will of the people. Not Idi Amin, whom Ruto is imitating, because I will be forgiven for christening him the butcher of Kenya because of the number of people being killed everywhere. Not al-Bashir. Al-Bashir had a very, very serious army and police state. He still went down. Not the leaders in Egypt. And even in China, Tiananmen Square happened. No dictator, not even Adolf Hitler, has ever survived the will of the people. So, Dr. William Ruto, you and your rogue regime will not survive the will of the people. You can shoot us many, you can kill us many, but you'll not be able to annihilate the entire nation.
His argument is the street protests is not the way to get him out. And when he was saying, how do I go? He made reference to the Constitution. So there are legal and constitutional ways of getting him out of office. And he's saying, I'm constitutionally mandated to be in my, whether you call it 1 term or 2 term, I'm in my term.
Is he constitutionally mandated to kill people? I would advise him to look for a better lawyer than Murkomen to read the Constitution for him if he himself is not able to read the plain words that power resides with the people. And even to remember, even in his own enterprises, he hires and fires. Even where one has a written contract, you can fire them beforehand. The people of Kenya have the right to fire you for gross incompetence, gross violation of the Constitution, and an attempt to overthrow the Constitution. The same Constitution also says you cannot establish a government other than by way of lawful means. Now, the regime, he has overthrown the Constitution and established a rogue regime. His time is spent, and he must know that he cannot read the Constitution selectively. And if he cares for this country, and if at all he has any modicum of respect for himself and the people, he should be packing his bags. And he should not blame the chaos that we have seen, and there is evidence that it is state-sponsored. He should not even try to blame it on any individual or the opposition. If you say, they even tried to frame the uprising as something from a region,
yes,
Mount Kenya. 27 counties cannot be a region. He has tried the tribal narrative. It has failed. Kenyans are saying we are beyond that. So let him address the issues. When people are demonstrating because of Ojwang, they kill others. Other than Boniface Kariuki, who was deliberately murdered, many others, we are being told 19, maybe now 20 with Boniface.
Right.
But is it 20? Because these are people who falsify records. When will we get to know the actual number of the dead? About the police stations that were banned. Every government installation is guarded by uniformed police from the administrative police unit.
Right.
In all those videos, we didn't see any of them. And I've been wondering,
where were they?
Did the police give way to the goons who set fire? Like the most graphic case is the Nyandarua one. There's a video circulating. You see them break the windows of the car, open the bonnet, and then set fire. And then they go to the next car. Their faces are seen. One of them has the trademark rungu or stick, if you like. The freshly minted ones
Yes.
that are walking around with goons and are being ferried in police vehicles. So that automatically tells you who are the people who would be so bold going car to car. And there were not a big mob that you'd say the police ran away because 10,000 people went. In the case of the Nyandarua one, you see just about 6 or 7 people, and their faces are not covered. Who are these? And why? Who was guarding Kikuyu police station on that day? Who was guarding the court? Because all government installations have said are guarded. Did they call for distress? Stop arresting youth who have been vocal. Stop arresting human rights champions, trying to frame them. We saw the goons. We saw you walk with them. Release the activists who are arrested and go for the people you sent because you know them by name.
On the day of the protest, we saw, as you've clearly indicated, police working together with the goons. And even on the day of June 25th, Kenyans woke up to roadblocks and barricades outside
Barbed wire.
Barbed wire. And one would say, if the kitchen is too hot, get out. Get out. And with that again comes the question of police and investigations that are done. We're being told we don't know where Nyamweya is. But then again, we remember within 4 days you gave us entire report on who killed the MP Were. Appears as though when it comes to police working, police is meant for a specific sector of Kenyans and not everybody.
That's what is appearing, that all the state machinery, including the law enforcement, is being used for a clique. The elite that are leading, and not for the population. You cannot say you don't know where Nyamweya is, you didn't pick him, and you're not telling us where he is. You cannot say you do not know about the welfare of Kenyans, which is your core business. I am telling members of the security agencies, you are Kenyans like us. You deserve protection of the law just like the rest of Kenyans. Do not obey illegal orders. You'll be at the dock alone. Safeguard everybody. Do not use the instruments we have given you. Those guns, those heavy machines we have given you are not for terrorizing us. They are for guarding us. And to the army, your work is to deal with external enemies. When did your fellow Kenyan become an external enemy? The cowardice of Dr. Ruto is legendary. I have never, and I'm now in my late 60s, I have not seen a president barricade themselves. And we demonstrated as the youth during Moi era. I have never seen people who barricade themselves with barbed wire. That is not your house, Dr. Ruto. It's our house. If you barricade your house in Sugoi, we will not ask you. If you barricade your house in Karen, we will not ask you. If State House is too hot, why don't you leave and take a holiday in Karen? Let the people visit their house.
As well, Martha, one would have expected that by now statements made by the Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen, at least something ought to have happened. He should have been taken in to substantiate his orders because, he does not have any authority over the police service. That's number one. Number two, NCIC to move in and even ask questions based on that. But there is semblance of silence.
Thank you. NCIC, why do we pay you? You summon people who are merely expressing themselves. How come you have not summoned Kipchumba Murkomen for the shoot to kill order, which he denies, but he was captured by the media giving exact that order, an illegal order because, yes, he does not command the police. Even if Inspector Kanja was to give that order, it will still be an illegal order because there are circumstances where police are allowed to use necessary force. Shooting to kill, shooting people on sight is not necessary force. It is excessive force on unarmed protesters. I think that it is about time. And yesterday we did call for the resignation of or firing of Kipchumba Murkomen. But why should we stop at Kipchumba Murkomen? Dr. Ruto himself reinforced that statement. So actually, the call should be for the entire regime to go. The fish rots from the head. This particular fish is rotten. And it is time. Kenyans were given time to reorganize themselves.
Let's talk about this head. You and William Ruto, then he was no president, served together quite briefly in the Grand Coalition cabinet under President Mwai Kibaki.
Yeah, for 1 year to be precise.
Yes, that's why I said in a short period, a limited period. So in April 2008, following the post-election crisis that we had in the country, that coalition government came together. At the time, you appointed Minister of Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs, and Ruto was serving as Minister of Agriculture. I believe you had cabinet sessions together. In your limited interaction with him, did you see a side of him then that you're not either seeing it now, or are you seeing something totally different from what was projected when you worked with him? What do you see in terms of character?
I see the same Ruto. I'm not among those that he has been able to deceive as to who he really is. A person who does not respect boundaries. Even in that cabinet, if you go to the records of newspapers, you'll see we had an altercation in December of 2008 inside cabinet over the maize scandal emanating from his ministry.
Yes.
He was Minister for Agriculture. And those who may wish to dig up will see how the subsidy for maize supposed to help the people to bring the price of maize down. He shared it out to friends. And the best was a confession by the late Kibor that sitting at his desk, the letter he was given made him earn a cool 85 million because he sold that letter to a miller. So we even went to Parliament. There was a motion to remove Ruto as Minister of Agriculture, a motion of no confidence. As a cabinet minister, I actually voted for the motion. There were 22 of us, and even Mwangi Kionjore, who is now with him, voted for his removal. And thereafter, in another 4 months, I was out of government because we had ceased to see eye to eye on policy, not just with Ruto, but with most of the government. And I felt that my mandate as the person, articulating policy on the fight against corruption, I felt I was not getting support for my mandate. And also for human rights. Remember, it was the time too many youth were killed, including Mungiki, youth dubbed as Mungiki. So there were so many issues, and the issues of administration of justice. So Ruto, in his DNA, he's a person, no respect for the truth, lies all the time, even everybody has said it. He also has no boundary of what is his and what is public, as would be exemplified by the maize scandal, the land grabbing, and many other issues that have surrounded him. Today, nobody has confirmed to Kenyans that he has ever paid for Weston. And we see it keeping recurring in the newspapers. So we have cases confirmed by the court. That's why I'm talking openly, because sue me, I'll substantiate. Yeah. The court have actually had 2 cases where it found you to have grabbed land, the Muteshi land and the Weston. If it is corruption, I'll be able to substantiate. He was charged with corruption. The case collapsed because the witnesses were either compromised. Some he promoted because they were in his ministry. Yeah.
The reason I asked that question is at the time before resigning, what was coming out is a complaint that the president then, Mwai Kibaki, did not consult you as the justice minister when you're looking at all these appointments, including Ruto's appointment back then, and the consultations around who you're working with regarding justice matters and constitutional matters. Are you then seeing, because that was the government then, now this is another different government, is this the same script, different characters? Are we going to expect any change whatsoever?
Let me say this. The immediate trigger for my resignation was appointments in the judiciary.
Yes.
Without any, not that I was mandated or a member of the JSC. But once the recommendations are given to the president, then as his constitutional advisor, and with the mandate of being able to forward judiciary issues to cabinet, there are backroom consultations. And he had consulted me before the 2010 constitution in the same appointments in 2006, and I had advised him against it. Then they bring the same behind my back, and I'm called to attend, and I refused and left because my mandate has been taken away. The fight against corruption had been abandoned, and the rule of law and human rights had been abandoned. Now, administration of justice was also heading the wrong direction. Yes, the seeds of these things were sown then. I had difficulties even the time he appointed the Grand Coalition government, because I was insisting that he should not appoint people who have issues of integrity. The Constitution had not yet been passed, but we had the Public Officers Ethics Act. So it was possible to say people who do not qualify this. And he was told by others that it is okay, it's a Grand Coalition government. So then things start to happen the wrong way. Because if he had followed that law, Ruto should not have been admitted to cabinet at that time. And it was not only him. Okay. There are about 3-4 people who ought not to have qualified. So you can see the cancer is eating us. Then we come to 2013. And Kenyans must always ask themselves, was it a mistake to elect people who had cases at the ICC? What's the message? That the rule of law doesn't matter.
So this is it.
Whether they are guilty or not. So finish your issue first. And
so there is an issue with adhering to the rule of law, and it didn't start just now.
No, it's a cancer
previously, whether it was subtle or overt, that there seems to be an affinity for everything but the rule of law.
The rule of law,
And it just, even as we have these conversations where we say certain things, then for us to really understand what it means to adhere to the rule of law, perhaps that could be the solution to a lot of these things that we see. That individuals who then will have a penchant for nothing but to adhere to the rule of law, then we will see that this needle will start to move in the direction in which it ought to.
Thank you very much for that, because really, even today, even as we chant Ruto must go, and indeed the rogue regime must go in its entirety, we as Kenyans must be conscious. What is the problem and what will be the answer to the problem? The answer is lack of adherence to the rule of law. And the rule of law means the Constitution and the laws made under it. It means governance, because there can't be good governance that is not grounded on the rule of law. Therefore, the alternative to the rogue regime that has all but overthrown our Constitution is bringing in leadership that will respect, adhere to the rule of law. Leadership that will respect boundaries, because it's all about the rule of law, by the way, and governance. But people don't connect. People tell you that we can deal with the rule of law later. If you see the footprints, even from the KANU era, the issue was the same. When people were being detained without trial, when leaders were being detained for merely expressing themselves, including expressing themselves in parliament, because Serone and Shikuku, it was just expressing themselves inside parliament where you have privilege, but the privilege was ignored. Matiba and Robia is expressing themselves outside, and they were entitled even under the old constitution. Lawyers Getobu Imanyara, Dr. John Kaminwa, Mohamed Ibrahim, who today sits at the Supreme Court, it was because of their work as advocates. Imanyara for writing the Nairobi Law Monthly, for being critical of the government, which you can see today that every young person who has exercised their right to be critical of the government or to call others to come and attend peaceful demonstrations like Nyamweya are being punished. So you can see it's the same thread of people who do not respect the rule of law and therefore do not respect the rights of others and even life of others.
All these matters still end up, in terms of legal redress,
Yeah.
they all end up, like you say, today there's a case of Nyamweya.
Yeah.
All these matters will still eventually go to court.
Yeah.
As the current status and the current feeling is that Parliament is already captured by the executive.
Yeah.
By extension, judiciary also is captured. Is your view the judiciary is also captured by the executive, or what's going on?
I would say that yes, there is encroachment of the judiciary, but we can still see sparks of light in some of the judicial pronouncements. A few in the lower courts, noting that the lower court issues of rights are not always there, but we can see a few of them standing up. We can see the human rights court standing up, even though sometimes you can see wavering. But there is some good coming out of the High Court, some good coming out of the Court of Appeal, and I'm unable to see much coming out of the Supreme Court, because even where the High Court and Court of Appeal ruled the 2023 finance bill unconstitutional, the Supreme Court rumbled. Yes, no, but it still can apply. Once something is unconstitutional, it can't apply. So you can see lack of firmness. But the courts can yet redeem themselves. Because the framers of the Constitution, the people of Kenya, in their wisdom, entrusted arbitration of disputes between them and the leadership in the courts of law. I would urge professionals holding position of authority in the courts, in any other department of government, know that even if the technical appointment is by a person in office, you owe your allegiance to the people of Kenya. Those appointments are done in our name and on our behalf. And you must always consider what is the best interest of Kenyans, not what is the best interest of the ruling class. I would urge them to be true to the oath of office and to know nations are built by you and me. You in the position you hold, even just as a rank and file police officer, a constable. You, when you uphold my rights and the rights of others, you are building the nation. When you don't, you are destroying the nation. So we must know that nations are built by their citizens, and laws are as good as the people who enforce them. Let us do our bit. We need a collective consciousness as Kenyans to build this nation, to restore the rule of law, and with it, human rights and good governance, and to know that you cannot exchange a bad government with another bad one. You need to look at all the people seeking leadership. And I don't mean for one seat, because people focus on the presidency only. Focus on your MCA and governor, because that's your county government. And most of your day-to-day things, including health, including necessities like water, they are managed by these people. And your money is coming to these people. Focus on your women rep. Focus on your constituency MP and senator. That's your national parliament, which shares the national cake to you. Then focus on the presidency. Unless if we do that, to change the entire leadership and put leadership that will think that is people-centered. Because what we are having is a government that serves itself. And that is totally unconstitutional. They should be servants of the people, not serving themselves, not converting the state as their vehicle to opulence, to undeserved riches, and to unbridled power, which they abuse to oppress us.
Martha, one of the things you said is that we will not allow this to continue to happen. That it happened in time gone, but it's also happening today, whereby, you know, things like right to representation don't happen, whereby right to then lobby and picket and demonstrate or protest, are met with the things that we are seeing today. But you said we're not going to allow this to happen anymore, and that people have to decide that this shouldn't happen anymore. How exactly do you see this living itself out?
Collectively, we will not allow, and Kenyans have shown they will not allow. When you see young people going to the streets, writing their obituaries beforehand, they have had enough and they're saying, I better die defending my rights rather than live on my knees. It is the same spirit that had the freedom fighters who rescued Kenya from the chokehold of the colonial government. It is the same spirit of the second liberation, of people whose blood was shed, people who suffered to usher in a new era. This is the same spirit of today's Gen Z, that I better die defending my country. I just want to say to us Kenyans, we can't leave it to the Gen Zs alone. You and me have a role to play. We must together vow not to allow this rogue regime to destroy what we have built. And we must vow to usher in a regime that will be able to help us rebuild Kenya. And here I want to give just a small example. You asked me whether I think from the years I've worked with William Ruto in Parliament and in Cabinet, he has changed. He has not. And you can only know a person through their actions. So for any of us who come to you seeking position, look at somebody's previous utterances and what they do. You'll be able to know the total sum of that person. And they need not have served in government. You will still be able to know them from their neighborhoods.
But the other concern is this.
Yeah.
If we talk about alternatives and speaking to Kenyans, right now we have the president. He's still in power. He's the president. But then the realignments that we currently see from his former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. We have former Attorney General Justin Muturi. We have yourself. We had Agriculture Minister then Linturi. We are seeing Matiang'i. We are seeing Eugene Wamalwa. You are seeing a lot of these people.
Don't forget Kalonzo.
And Kalonzo Musyoka, sorry, thank you for reminding me. So we are seeing all these people coming together. And people are saying, look, is this the alternative? These are old deputies of the ones who are currently in power. And then there are others within the outfit who are also have integrity questions. Is that then the future?
I have said, and I'll repeat here, you must allow all of us to seek office. But the decision on whom to employ lies with the people. The populace is the accountability mechanism in this country. Do not drop the ball. And everybody has a role to play, irrespective of their past. There's some, because this vehicle is stuck in the mud, it needs numbers to push it out. And when I come to push your vehicle, you don't ask for my ID. You let me push your vehicle and you turn and say thank you as you're driving off, isn't it? Therefore, let the people remain the accountability partners. None of us can start telling the others that I'm better than you. Let us present our credentials to you and pick one from among us. Leaders, a group of leaders, however large, including my group of leaders, cannot bring change to this country alone. It's only in partnership with the people. May the people of Kenya utilize their chance of being the accountability mechanism well. Let us work together, but it is only you who can give to this country the leadership it deserves. Allow us to wake you up, to arouse the national consciousness, but let us keep on having this conversation. If the problem is governance, adherence to the rule of law is what will restore good governance. Once you identify the problem, then it helps you to see the sort of leadership you need to fix that problem.
How do we get away from this? I think we've all alluded to it in this conversation when we talk about the mechanism for representation is Parliament.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it is a member of Parliament or whether it is a senator, and at this point, or whether it is a member of the county assembly. But if this is hooked to the executive, as many have said it is today, how then do we say that we're going to have proper representation? Look at what has happened in the previous times, that if any member of Parliament would speak in a manner that is outside of what the proposed boundaries are that the executive has charted, then you're going to have a problem. We've seen it most recently. We've seen senators removed, Senator Orobo removed because of the things that she said. We've seen previously, even in the previous administration, members of the majority removed, members of the minority removed, and other individuals put in their place. It happens over and over. If we see at the level of representation that we can't get clean representation for the people and not the executive, how then do we exercise this power that we have been alluding to through this entire hour?
By electing people who are deserving of those posts. But if we elect people with moral infirmity, then it will not happen. I want to congratulate Senator Gloria Oroba for expressing herself. And I think her removal, I believe it is being challenged. I don't know, but I would expect a proper canvassing of that issue in a court of law. She cannot be removed for merely going to a rally of another person. As a nominated person, you remain vulnerable to being told that you have joined another party. She should have been able to answer and say, William Ruto too has joined ODM. And remember, they have no formal agreement. Therefore, she cannot be removed for what her party has shown her to do. I hope it is being challenged. But what I'm saying is this. I was a member of Parliament. I got elected first in 1992 December. So for 10 years, we were under KANU rule and it was repressive. Although I now think William Ruto, with the new constitution, 2010 constitution, is surpassing the KANU regime. I think he's worse than the KANU regime. We are now in the eclipse days, if those were the dark days. We were outspoken. That was before the 2010 constitution, and those who wish to Google can go backwards and see. We used to challenge the regime. We were very few in parliament, because even among the opposition, only a handful of about 20 people were very vocal. We used to speak. It is not what is written in the law that allows you to say what you say. It is the courage of your conviction within you that what I'm doing is right. That is what is driving the Gen Z. They've been shot, they've been mistreated, even when the law says that they have a right to do this. But because they have the courage, they are convicted that what they are doing is right. That courage of conviction is what is driving them. So elect people of principle, people who believe in service, not who believe in lucrative jobs, because now the job of a parliamentarian, whether in the local assembly or national, has become a glamour job. It's a well-paying job, better than the private sector if you like. So people are seeking leadership, sometimes for the wrong reasons. So look for people who have shown traits that they are pro-people and that they can sacrifice for the people. That is our problem today. And it's the same problem in our institutions, whether it's the judiciary, parliament, or executive. What stops a cabinet secretary from speaking up? You'll be sacked. You can return where you came from. Why do we fear being sacked? How many people work for the government in Kenya? A very, very small percentage. I don't think it's even 5%. The rest of the people are living, are eking out a living, may be difficult. Why don't you join the majority? I've been out of an elected office since 2012. I have not worked with the government at all. I'm alive just like other Kenyans. I find my ground just like other Kenyans. Why are we not willing to sacrifice for what we believe in. When I resigned as minister, it meant losing more than half of my perks.
Yeah.
I went back to the backbench. It was loss of power and privilege. But I gained my peace. And I was able to move on. Let us not fear being sacked. You only fear if you have done something criminal and you fear they will follow you. Had I done anything wrong when I resigned, I would have been followed by the Kibaki government. Not Kibaki who would have been vindictive, but people around him. But they were not able to get anything to disturb me on. So please, follow the rules of whatever job you hold. Be guided by the courage of your conviction. Don't worry getting sacked. Do get sacked for standing for the right thing. We can only build this nation by being ready to defend it as our national anthem says and as our constitution compels us to do. To stand up, uphold and defend the constitution.
I have two quick questions. One, are you willing to mentor from this Gen Z and these young people who are saying, we want to drain the swamp. We are tired of the old political class. Those who've been in politics, part of the government, give us our time and space. Mentor from within the movement or from within the Gen Z and say, we will take a backseat, we will fund you, we will support you, take these leadership positions. 1, 2, do you believe you can mix water with oil? Because you are saying people can go and elect the good ones. But if you have a mix of people who have issues, integrity issues, people who have violated the Constitution, and you mix all these people within the same basket, are we not going to end up having the same recipe of what we have with the current administration then?
May I answer you by first telling you that even the country is mixed. Isn't this same population that elected people who had issues knowingly? And to the Gen Zs, I'm already mentoring. We mentor by what we do and what we say. And we also mentor those who come up to us and want to work with us. So I'm mentoring through all methods. And anybody who walks up to me and is seeking mentorship, I never say no, because I too was mentored by others. About sitting back to give the Gen Z leadership positions, the robust answer is that it doesn't happen. I wrestled an old man out of the Geshogo seat. I invite the Gen Z, come wrestle me out of, I don't have any seat, but come we compete. If you believe you are faster than me, in my 67 years, soon to be 68, come run with me. If you outrace me, I will salute you and support. Let us stop this holier than thou. Yes, there are people with lots of integrity issues among leadership, and also a few among the population. Let each person be taken as an individual. We may work together, but seeking for a position is personal. Each one of us is seeking the position. Allow me to run my race. We could be 10 marathoners. We all have our track, and we are racing in the same field. Let me run my race. Judge me as me. Judge my brother as him. Judge everyone. Judge the Gen Z in the track next to me as that Gen Z. Because even Gen Zs, there are some who are terrible. True. A few of them who have, even gotten positions within leadership. So it's not about ageism. It is about what you represent. So I'm open. Come race with me. You'll be so shocked when I outpace you. But should you outpace me, I'll embrace you. I'll salute you. And we will walk and work together. It's our nation after all. And in the family, you never cast your father or mother away because from the family business. But there is a way you may work so hard in it and demonstrate certain qualities until they both tell you, son or daughter, we want to sit back
and let you
take this to the next level. That's where we are.
Martha Karua, party leader of the People Liberations Party, has been here with us this morning. things that we can't have gotten if we didn't speak with you today. And we want to thank you for being here today. Necessary for us to continue in this manner.
Thank you for having me. And Kenyans, remember, let us stand with the courage of our conviction. It starts with who you are inside. Yeah.
Thank you for being part of Kenya's biggest conversation this morning. And thank you for kicking off into the month of July in this manner. We'll talk again tomorrow, God willing.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.